What is your most controversial draft take going
like
into this thing?
Uh, Bryce Young has more than just the size as far as weaknesses.
Oh.
There's more holes to his game that I think people have kind of glossed over because he is such a fun player. Not that I say I think he's bad or anything. I think he's very good, but there's more holes to his game that I think people are glossing over than outside
Continue.
just the size stuff. Just other traits. Arm strength is something that is more adequate than overwhelming. He's drawn the comparisons to Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, obviously because of their size, but those two also had very good arms. Two of the best deep ball throwers in the last decade, and also just could drive on throws a little bit better than Bryce can. Room, God, it's hard because I'm trying to be nice here, but room for growth as far as he's more polished too, which is a pro and a con. When a guy is polished technique wise, mentally, then you also are going to say, well, what else can he improve at? If he's already maxed out in those types of areas, he's been under Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien praises him and his mental astuteness and everything that he brings to the table, which I do agree with. But other guys you watch, Anthony Richardson, even a CJ Stroud, you watch those guys and you could say, well, they only did this, this, and this. So we haven't seen them in this type of setting or with this type of offense or with this type of room to grow. With Bryce Young, it's a little bit more like, well, if he's maxed out, then if he hits some limitations in the league or hits some walls in the league, how does he answer to those? How does he find an answer to those? What way, like NBA players, they say every summer, oh, he worked on a new move. He worked on the new, fadeaway jump shot. He worked on the 3-pointer. With Bryce Young, it feels like he's maxed out in some of those areas. And so that's where I have some concerns outside of just, being a historical outlier with the size.
How do you balance processing and improvising? Obviously, you're watching the tape, and it's wonderful to watch a quarterback say, "Oh, I see what the defense is doing. I know where my players should be. I'm going to throw it with anticipation, and I am confidently doing so." And then sometimes quarterbacks are saying, "It's not there. Let me buy some time." But sometimes also, I don't know what I'm looking at. Let me buy some time so that the picture clarifies a little bit. Is improvising an always positive thing? Like, Bryce Young is a masterclass improviser, and you mentioned his arm strength. How much of that can you look at as a positive because he is going to have to do that for a bad football team that drafts him?
Right.
And how much do you look at the smart decision making he's making when he's in rhythm?
Right. No, that's a fantastic question because the NFL now we're past the Tom Brady, Drew Brees types. The can sit in the pocket. A quarterback now, it's a prerequisite. And I'm just kind of expanding on your question, is that it's a prerequisite now that you have to create in some way, shape, or form. Either extend the play or scramble. Either way, using your legs and athletic ability. But on top of it, and this is something that I think but people have missed out on praising Mahomes, because I do think Mahomes is the best player I've ever watched, is yes, he does all the trick shot plays and incredible plays off platform, but he does the boring stuff really well. The nickel and diming, the first and second down plays, catching 7 yards instead of taking a sack. And when I watch a guy, this is why I was super low on Zach Wilson, which it sounds great. I could say that now. I said that a year ago and people were still like wanting to slit my throat, especially Jets fans. Because they're so calm and modest.
Yeah, always.
All those people from Long Island, they're great. My parents are from Long Island, so I can say that. Is that when you watched him at BYU, it was that he instantly went to creation mode. It was when a clean pocket, and that's what you got to look at. When there is a presentable answer that's within what I think, as far as what I know from play design and play concepts. If I see that a guy had a normal in the line answer, in the progression answer, and he's passing up on that over and over and over, that's when I start to get worried. If he misses it once and goes into creation mode, it's like, okay, that's fine. Sometimes quarterbacks predetermine, like, it's like a basketball player taking it to the rack. I'm not passing to my teammate. I'm getting a foul here. Some guys do that, and that's fine, but it is hard to balance it. And that's why trying to guess what they're trying to accomplish with the play is really important. A guy like Bryce Young, why I first came in, thought I was like, man, this guy bails from the pocket all the time. Then you watch him and he's handling the protections, which shows, okay, you understand what's going on. You have to look at kind of in between things, the context clues. But then you go to a play and there's a nice safe answer and he's taking it. Boom, 1, 2, 3, balls out. And so like you have to see a little bit of the both. I think that guys, like I already brought up Zach Wilson, But other guys like Justin Fields, when he came out, he was boring, like, because he was such an athletically gifted guy. And then he gets to the NFL, he's a totally different type of player. When I watched him, why I liked him was this guy's a freak athlete, but wants to be a quarterback operating from the pocket. So when I watch a guy and I try to, this is a long-winded answer to say, I try to look at both. But when I go in and watch a guy, I want to see them at least for a majority of his snaps operating within structure, which is he catches the ball in the shotgun. It's 1, 2, 3, hitch, ball out on time. There's no extra hitch. There's no eyes scanning from back and forth. When you see a quarterback's eyes going all the way from left sideline to right sideline, that's not good. Going from middle to right sideline, it's fine. But when you're scanning coast to coast, that means to me you're guessing. If you could do it once, like I said, or twice, it can come up. It's not everyone's perfect, but when you're doing it over and over and over, to me, that means you're guessing on the play and where to find the throw. So you're really just looking for everything to operate on time, and then also just look at the highlight plays and all the scrambling and all the fun plays as well.